Hi guys, today we're going to compare this little bad boy right here, the Fifine K678 versus two of the most popular USB condenser microphones on the market, the Blue Yeti and the Blue Snowball. I have it backwards. The Blue Snowball. I'm wearing headphones today, so you know you're in for a professional review. Buckle up. Just a disclaimer, Fifine actually sent me this microphone for review. They're not paying me. They don't know what I'm going to say, but they did send it. And that is how you pronounce the company's name, by the way, Fifine. In my correspondence with them, that's what they preferred. So, they didn't send their mic to a jerk, so that's what I'm going to do. So really, this is more of a comparison of the Yeti versus the K678, because clearly that is who Fifine is targeting. The look, the build quality, and the features match up much more closely with the Yeti. But the Yeti actually comes in at $130 USD as of January 29th, 2021, and the Fifine is retailing at $59 on their website, USD. Even the Blue Snowball normally retails for $99, so no matter how you slice it, the Fifine is substantially cheaper. But if the audio isn't up to snuff, it doesn't really matter how cheap a microphone is, So we'll test this thing. I wonder what we'll find out. So before we get into the sound test, let me tell you a little bit about the mic. On the bottom, you will see a USB Mini B port, which is the same as the Yeti. It would have been nice to see a USB-C this day and age, but what are you going to do? There's also a 3.5 millimeter jack for headphones, and in the middle, you have a 1/4-inch thread, which is not typical on a mic. This is more of a tripod-sized thread instead of a typical 3/8 or 5/8 thread. It does, however, come with this handy little extender, which can give you both of those sizes to mount on a regular mic stand or a boom. The reason they use this extender, as far as I can see, is because the mic is so small, there's not enough room on the bottom for the bigger size threads. In fact, even if you try to mount it directly onto the 1/4-inch thread, you will see there's no longer enough room to plug in the USB. But when you use the extender, everything is just hunky-dory. On the front of this handsome mic, you will find a green light indicating the power is on. There's a little mute button, which when you click it, it glows red, showing that you are in fact muted. On the back, it has two dials, one to control the volume of the mic, and one to control the volumes in your headphones. These are stiff buttons, so they won't easily turn if your hand brushes against them. Comes with this nice little stand, but to get the best quality audio, it's a good idea to boom the mic close to your yapper so you won't get any bumps or noise from a table that the mic would be standing on. In a perfect world, I would have this on a boom arm here suspended in the air. That's how I like to do it, but I don't have a boom that can currently fit this thing, so this is the best I can do. So here comes some fancy specs. It is a USB condenser microphone. The polar pattern is unidirectional or cardioid. The frequency response is 40 Hz to 20 kHz. The sensitivity is -45 ± 3 dB at 1 kHz. The dynamic range is 88 decibels and a signal-to-noise ratio of 85 decibels. Maximum SPL of 130 decibels. The height is about 200 millimeters or 7.87 inches with the stand, and the weight is 708 grams or 1.56 pounds with the stand, which is about half the height and weight of the Yeti. Now, because this mic is cardioid, its intention is to pick up only what is in front of the mic and reject all of what's going on around it. This is a notable difference between the Yeti and the K678 in that the Yeti has the cardioid polar pattern, but it also has other polar patterns. It has stereo, bidirectional, and omnidirectional. Now, Fifine, they actually make another mic, the K690, which has the same polar patterns as the Yeti, so you can check that out if you want. But in reality, most people, myself included, will only be using the cardioid polar pattern for best audio when speaking into the mic. There are people who may want the other functionalities of the other polar patterns on the Yeti or the K690. For instance, if you're using say you got a choir, or a band or a conference call, the omnidirectional polar pattern is going to work for that. Now, some people might be tempted to just get a Yeti, stick it in the middle of a table, and then have a big podcast where there's a bunch of people on. But I've actually tried that, and I've seen other people try it, and it doesn't work out very well. You're too far away from the microphone, so it doesn't sound very nice. There's too much echo in the room. So unless you want to get really intimate and stare in your guest's eyeballs about 2 inches apart, you're going to want an individual mic for each person. And this brings me to an important point. If you're doing a podcast with multiple people, the best thing to do would be actually get some dynamic mics running into a mixing board or an audio recorder like a Zoom. I actually did a video about that on my other channel. I'll link it up here somewhere. And dynamic mics, they're extremely good at picking up only the sound in front of them, but the problem comes in the fact that you need to be very close to the mic, and they're almost all XLR connected, so you can't just plug and play like these little USB condenser mics. So if you're in a quiet room, just yourself, maybe one other guest, these condenser mics will work extremely well, and they'll also be very convenient because, like I said, you just stick it in the computer, you're ready to go. You don't need an audio interface and to go through into the computer. You're just ready for prime time right away. Just be careful that there isn't a lot of noise or echo in the room because these sensitive mics will pick that up. Where these mics really shine, in my opinion, is when it comes to either a one-man podcast or some voiceover work and in streaming situations. You don't have to have the mic as close as a dynamic mic, and you'll still be able to get some decent quality audio. In fact, let's test that now. I'll move a little further away to give you an idea what that sounds like. I'll raise my voice a little bit so that hopefully I'll keep the levels about the same way, but you can still hear my voice fairly clearly, much better than computer speakers, for instance. And if I had a dynamic mic this far away from me, you wouldn't be able to hear much at all. But of course, to get the best audio, you want to move it in right here. Oh, isn't that nice? See, that sounds so good, and this sounds so echoey, and this sounds so good. You should also get yourself a pop filter like I have here to temper those plosive P's, and I just got this cheap one from Amazon. I'm sure you can get better, but I'll link it below if I can find it, and maybe some suitable boom arms for the microphone as well. And then I'll wait for that avalanche of commission money. So now on to the direct comparison test. I'll switch to the Blue Yeti now. Now you're listening to the dulcet tones of my nasal leprechaun voice on the Blue Yeti. If you're wondering how I'm recording this, I'm just plugging it straight into my M1 MacBook Air and using the voiceover feature in Final Cut. I'm not doing any post-processing, but I will try to match the levels so the mic doesn't sound louder than the other mic. I got the idea from another Toronto reviewer, Mr. Bernie Hippos, so you can go check out his review of the K678 after this, if mine's not good enough for you. Now, obviously, I've switched over to the Blue Snowball. I like this chrome-looking one because it reminds me of old-timey mics. I actually used to use 2 of these Snowballs for a podcast a long time ago, but they picked up everything in the room, and there's not a lot of control over the Snowball. You actually have no dials that you can use. There's just a switch that is for the cardioid and omnidirectional, and then one more switch that gives you a -10 decibels in case it's too loud. You have a podcast guest who keeps screaming. But that is not a whole lot of control on the mic, so not a lot of features, but in truth, pretty good sound quality coming out of this little fella. Now I'll do the exact same phrase back to back so you can hear the mics against each other. Mark Bennett is an amazing YouTuber who uses professional accessories, such as headphones. Mark Bennett is an amazing YouTuber who uses professional accessories, such as headphones. And now the voice of Sean Connery. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. My name is Michael Caine. My name is Michael Caine. Kermit the Frog here. Kermit the Frog here. Sesame Street News. Gotta say, guys, I am a little blown away. Not only did the Fifine compete with the Yeti, it actually surpassed it in sound quality, in my opinion. So let me get this straight. It's cheaper, smaller, lighter, and sounds better. Woof. So this is a no-brainer. Unless you want those other polar patterns or you need something heavy enough to knock out intruders, I can't see why you would get the Yeti. And this is coming from someone who owns the Yeti. But hey, sound quality is somewhat subjective, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks to Fifine for sending out this unit for review, and thanks to your faces for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. My name is Michael Caine.